Hello and welcome back to the Full 40. Here with Willy and Trevor. Um, this is a
I'm pretty
pod.
deflated there.
Yeah, I deflated like my hopes for this season. Um, this is a podcast after we went 0 for 2, losing to St. Joe's and I guess showing up for a Virginia game, but like not really. Just kind of like felt like a nice little jog. And yeah, I don't know. This is the defeated podcast.
Yeah. Later, we're gonna give ourselves mulligans for the rest of our predictions from a couple from last episode or 2 episodes ago when we did our schedule. But yeah, that was That was a very demoralizing week. The worst thing, not the worst thing, but one of the worst things is like we somehow only make these like 10-point losses. So like on paper for me who can't always watch, or I haven't been able to watch as much as I'd like to this season, like you go and you check the score and it's like, well, it's only a 10-point, and then you look and it's like, this was not a 10-point loss. This was a 10-point loss wearing a disguise. I Watching the UVA game on a plane was so frustrating. There's no urgency. There's no 3-point defense. They're just letting that kid shoot. He was like 8 for 8 from the field. I think he made 6 threes that he took,
Yeah.
and they weren't like catch and shoot. You know, he some of them were insane, but it's just like defeated. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I St. Joe's. I mean, beat us. Like they beat us
Yeah.
fair and square. That and Virginia beat us fair and square. That's not to take anything away. They beat us really fair and square.
Cheated.
Yeah. But Virginia was just a flat out game plan failure. The idea was to let them shoot threes, including people like Isaac McNeely could always have made threes. I don't know why there were so many open threes. But we let Andrew Rohde take a lot of threes, and Andrew Rohde was I was at the game with a good buddy of mine who's a UVA fan, and he was like, "If you guys let Andrew Rohde score more than 3 points, I'm telling you, like, this is your program's done." And I was like, "Buddy, he's going to score way more than 3 points. I'm telling you right now." And Rohde put up 13, just getting open threes. This was this was a game we were never in for the Virginia game. Like St. Joe's, I almost don't want to talk about right now. We can sprinkle back to that. But St. Joe's, I'm looking at this like the box score thing. At the 11:07 mark, it was 11-11 of the first half. After that, we never had the lead again. After that, the game never got more than like 5 points away. It was just and then like it is okay. 5 points doesn't feel like that big of a deal, but it was
When your offense can't score, it's a huge deal.
It was so clear that UVA had complete control of the game. Um, the just this to take a step back and talk about the setup. So I was at the game with a UVA buddy in Baltimore, and it was I guess CFG Arena like definitely wasn't made for basketball. It's definitely like a concert venue. So there was like a lot of like space. There were just open seats wherever. Like we were up on the second level, we were able to get down closer. We could have gotten right behind the benches if we wanted to. There was open seats everywhere. But that place felt 95% Virginia fans. And then there was a game afterwards with Virginia Tech and Penn State that also had fans there. Like Villanova wasn't out in droves. I get Baltimore. It's not like the
5 o'clock in Baltimore.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
You're closer to DC. It's more likely that UVA fans would take the trip. Yeah.
But it just is the energy wasn't there from the beginning. That's just the way from the fans. Yeah, but that's clearly not the issue. It was from the team. The energy just was not there. Our offense has become, and I was talking to a buddy of mine about this after the game. Our offense has become a old school matchup take 'em offense, where let's see if we can get. In fact, to call a spade, our offense was created so Dixon can be successful, which Dixon is successful. That's
Yeah,
but it was to create ideally mismatches, but matchups that you can take advantage of and let the player go one on one. That does a disservice to every other player on our team, with the exception of Wooga Poplar, who in theory can also do that. Had a struggle game, but like I still generally feel good about it. It doesn't help Chris Parker get downhill and use his athleticism. It doesn't help Brickus set up people in the way that's going to be helpful for him. It doesn't help Longino, who continuously has taken a more on ball load and just like he had a decent game in this game. I think it was we're looking at like yeah, he went what two like 4 for 9, so like not a bad game, but like yeah, but you're asking Longino to be an offensive like to take an offensive load,
it's not a good game.
yeah,
Like
which was
our offense, like our rating is actually up. I think from where we were at probably this time last year. Part of that is just because of how good Eric is, and his usage rate. I'm sure is carrying that that ranking. Like he's shooting 50% from three. Um, he's a bucket
yeah.
and that's what's carrying our offensive rating right now on KenPom. It's 48 right now.
His true shooting, which I know I'm a nerd out, his true shooting is 70%, which is like basically only for like big men who do dunks and threes typically.
Yeah,
Which
but he's not
or
doing that.
dunks, I should say, not yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Watching this game with was Brigus in foul trouble. It was kind of hard for me to follow. But I just like for a long stretch in that second half, he wasn't in.
No, he was not in
He
foul trouble.
okay.
He had one foul.
He just wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have one point guard on this team.
Yeah.
Who, no fault of his own, is 5'8",
Yeah.
5'9", you know, whatever. We're dealing with that limitation as it is. Jordan Longino has been appointed our backup point guard, and yeah, he can't do it.
Yeah.
We know he played quarterback for like 7 minutes in high school, but he does not have the vision. He does not have the creativity. He can't do it. Going back to a Brian shared a Leader Johnson tweet from over the summer when we were targeting other point guards before Mark Armstrong had left the program, and he said that we didn't need to go after anyone because it was Mark Armstrong's team, and that's the only guard we needed. And I had replied saying, yeah, it would stink to have two guys that can facilitate an offense. When have we ever done anything with 2 point guards? And then he was like, we had 2 on the championship. Yes, I know. We need more than 1 point guard. Yeah. Like you can't do anything with one with one limited guard who hasn't shown aggressiveness or initiative when trying to get himself going to score. Like I know he had that little flurry in the St. Joe's game that gave me hope. And there's just I'm running out of ways to be upset here.
I think there's a comment in the on the live stream which I agree with. Kevin Welch says, "At this point, IDK while we're redshirting anyone, give Sash playing time. We need someone else.
Give everybody playing. Colin O'Toole has played more minutes than Jordan Dumont this season. I checked it; it's 2-1.
Yeah.
But Colin O'Toole has played more minutes than Jordan Dumont, who is here. No, I know Colin is nothing against walk-ons and seniors that have put their time in and effort and energy into the program, but you need to get guys who you look at as, oh, he's a sophomore now. You need to get these guys minutes.
Yeah. Why isn't Dumont's any part of our future? There needs to be minutes for him.
Yeah. I don't know if he is or not.
That's
very because I've seen him play 1 minute.
Yeah.
In his career.
I was genuinely shocked when he got on the floor. I was like, "Wait, Dumont's out there now? Like we're just gonna?"
I thought he was hurt.
Yeah.
So
we haven't seen much of Malcolm Thomas after he flashed some stuff interesting. And granted, Malcolm Thomas
athlete. I know we have a logjam at that position too.
And he's not the fix to our offense. Well, at least I don't think he's the fix to our offensive issues. If he is, good for him. That'd be awesome.
No, the fix was Matt Hodge. Who the NCAA, gave us that, and I joke obviously, I know Matt Hodge wasn't the answer to all of our problems here, but it's just unfortunate that he wasn't able to clear up the eligibility issue. That's just I'm done with that point for the rest of the season. I'm going to be angry about it, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
I just want to get back to a point that I was saying earlier of we're not setting up our players to be successful outside of Eric. And I have no issue with Eric's success, but we are not making the game easier. We also don't have the pieces to make the game easier.
No.
Like
Well,
Rick is
but
being the only
last year
lead guard.
we didn't do it either.
Yeah,
It was the same thing last year. It was and Eric and Justin to an extent or whoever else was like on that night would get his.
yep.
But just like you said, it was it's his night. Let him go. Um, and uh, and like you said, we're not helping ourselves at all. Like the parts are not greater than the sum. Dissect that phrase however it makes sense, but like individually we're not going to be we're not talented enough individually to not play as a team on offense.
9 for 32 from the 3-point line, 10 from 22 from two, 8 assists, 13 turnovers. The ball's stagnant. Outside of Eric, we're not shooting well. Uh, we were able to get 12 offensive rebounds, which UVA gives up. I think I even
Yeah.
looked at that like the game. They gave up offensive rebounds. I don't know how many points off that we got, but like we did not kill them on the board. We killed them on the boards, but we didn't punish them for us killing them on the boards. It wasn't like Bocce was in there the whole time and absolutely destroying them. The other thing I called out, and I called this out as a worry of mine earlier, there were multiple entry passes to Bocce, which he just dropped. He doesn't have great hands, which makes it tough to like set him up, especially coming from like Brickus has some mustard on his passes. Like he's a good passer.
Yeah.
And so there's just things that we're missing there. It's just a like absolutely like there was no ball movement. There was nothing. It was find your matchup, take them, and let's hope the offense works. And I really felt this towards the end of the second half. There was just like a swing, swing, swing. The ball got to Chris Parker. There was no screen for Chris Parker. There was nothing to get Chris Parker, who is 6'7", has guard skills, very athletic. There was nothing to get him going towards the basket. And it was just Chris Parker taking a three, which he's already not that great at. And I just like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, how do we not let our players set our players up to do what they're good at? And we're not doing that. Thankfully, Eric's good at everything, but we're not setting everybody else to do what they're good at.
What you're saying right now is like I could go back to like 7 or 8 different episodes last year after coming off losses, and I could find a clip of you saying that same exact thing.
Nothing has changed.
I know it's year 3, and we went through this last year, and we had the fiery rants, and Chris was on here pulling his hair out, and we were all cheering and gung and there's like we don't have anything new to say.
Yeah.
We used every it's simply we are simply like the new DePaul, which
I don't want to hear that. Yeah,
you don't want to hear it, but like
yeah,
I know our KenPom ranking and stuff hasn't plummeted to those depths, but we are 2-3, and the 3 losses are St. Joe's, Columbia, and UVA without their head coach and 2 of their better players.
Yeah,
like
I mean, we're 73rd in KenPom, so it's not not hot.
I know, but I thought you were going to say that's pretty good. For how we feel, which I think 73 is kind of good for how I feel. But again,
also like I just want to say this right now, like not no one. Maybe this will be the catalyst that the team sees this or people see this and they're like, "This is fuck this," and like whatever. We're not making the tournament. We've already lost our these are essentially quad 2 games. We dropped 2 already between St. Joe's and here. We'll have a chance for a quad 1 game versus Maryland. It might be quad 1. It should be quad 1 neutral site. Maryland's pretty decent, and West Cincinnati, and then there's the Big East play, which we haven't even gotten into. The fact that like outside of us, Seton Hall, and like I guess Butler, everyone else is looking pretty decent. Like it's getting there.
Yeah.
The Big East is going to be the Big East. We don't need to like wax poetic about that. This is just our 2 wins. The simplest way is our 2 wins are worth our versus teams in the bottom 100 of KenPom. They're just versus the worst teams in the country.
And they
That's just what it
weren't
is.
like, I mean, the one was by like 39 or something like that. Where the haters now, but that was like the one of the worst.
And JT is the fifth worst team in the country according to Kenny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
And one of like 7 teams that still hasn't won a game.
Earlier today on a Big East Spaces, Fanta said that Villanova is in the pit of darkness, and I just want to correct: we are in the pit of despair. Princess Bride, pit of despair. We are not getting. There's no end in sight to this. Obviously, there is, but like it is game. We're coming up on game 6.
It's game 6 and everyone's done with this. Everyone is
Yeah,
done with this. And I just like to be real for a second, how the fuck did we get here? I know how we got here, but like it's fucking wild. Like
when you're going through hell and they tell you to keep going, that's how we got here. We went further down than they thought was possible, and like we high fived DePaul on our way down when they were on their way up with Holtman. Like the my only, I know we said it last week that like objectively, like we have the least accomplished coach in the Big East. Aside from like it's him and Kim English that haven't Neptune and Kim English are the only ones that haven't proved anything.
yeah.
In the postseason. English. The only thing I have against him is that he's 0-2 against Kyle Neptune. I just don't trust him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where else to get. Like I want to be angry. Like I, but you look at, okay, what's this team going to look like next year? We have 7 seniors.
Who fucking knows what this like
Are there 7? I don't know, but
at this stage, I mean, let's just look through it. At this stage, Dixon, Wuga, Bocce, Brickus, Longino are all definitely gone. Nana and Collins. So that's 7.
yeah,
That's 7 people gone. In theory, you mean all these freshmen then have like, hey, the team's yours, or
yeah,
freshmen and sophomores. So then we have Perkins, Mosley, Parker, uh, Thomas, Sosh,
Dumont,
Hodge, and who's the last one I just
Dumont,
said? Dumont. That's 7 left.
yeah.
Of
Half the team
those,
seniors. You got to
half
start playing some freshmen. We're saying this 6 games into the season. You got to get them happy so that they don't just up and leave with all this. Like are we going to be in a position where we're trying to get 10 guys?
that's what I was about to say. Like maybe some of these people, some of the players will be like, there's a chance for me to be way more involved and be the guy at like Villanova. Still a Big East school, still Villanova. Like we'll have the brand, whatever you can.
Presumably a new coach.
Yeah, and they'll be able to do this. But like we're looking at minimum, we're recruiting 6 new players at minimum.
And so going back, like, this is now year 3 of having this, and okay, the first year Justin Moore injured for half the season, wasn't the same after.
Jay
Whitmore hurt
yeah,
going into the season. This was first
immediately
year
after
Jay
Jay. Yeah,
gone. So that was the excuse then. Last year we got all these new faces. They're trying to learn Villanova basketball. But every other team in the country is dealing with the same thing. I am so sick of everybody
yep.
acting like this is a Villanova problem. It is not a It is a Villanova problem, and that Villanova is the only one that can't figure this out.
Yeah,
Nobody else. Everybody's having their struggles, and like Tony Bennett's gone. Jay Wright left because of Mike Bray got out of college basketball. It's all parts of this issue, but 300 other schools are being successful at it. Like why is this only our problem? All the traditionals, like Duke still get. I know it's Duke and Carolina, whatever. They're still, these guys are still getting recruits.
but the thing is,
Houston's still getting recruits.
you
Like
say that like it's Duke and Carolina. Like that should be us. Like
I
once again,
know
like we should be at this.
that's
Like,
where we were.
yeah, that's where we were. That's whether we were blue blood or not. Like, well, clearly not. But like, whether you wanted to buy in that conversation or not, like we were in that conversation, and now it's like, what the fuck happened to Villanova?
It's and like I said, I said before the show when we were off, I'm not going to talk about the mid-season dismissal, firing, whatever. Like I don't think it's going to happen just because that's not how Villanova operates, and I'm not going to like entertain. Like I'm just not going to have the discussion anymore. Like if I don't if Father Peter called me today and was like, "Hey, I'm actually going to leave it to you. Do you want me to fire him tomorrow, and then we can slap the interim tag on Nardi or whoever, and go from there?" Like I don't know what I would say.
Are you saying that that's a call you got?
So we've talked about it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't know what I would say, but like that's not happening.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, we won't have an interim. Like we got to hire an athletic director first, and then after that, I'm sure big part of the interview is, hey, what's your plan to fix our our main selling point from athletics perspective?
It's also funny because like it's not like this is like they're interviewing in the off season. Be like, this is how the season's
No.
going. The interview is happening now, so they're like, hey, you see what's happening on the court right there?
Yeah.
Can you help us fix that?
Like what's the plan here? So like I don't think that's changing. Like we've said, to exhaustion, unless there's some sort of like scandal or something really crazy happens or he just up and quits. Like this is our coach until I'm guessing April. And
just go with me on this. What if we lost every other game? Like every game for the rest of the like we go 2-28. Like
do you think how many games would we have?
How many games? How many games would it have to be like, hey man, this is untenable. Like
so the only time I will start to reconsider this is if and when it appears that like they just won't play for him anymore.
Yeah, that's
like
yeah.
UVA was tough because they were hitting these ridiculous shots and the players were following the game plan. It was a bad game plan, but they followed it. And if he's able to at least hold on to the locker room, like I don't know how dark this can get.
Yeah,
like we're on the darkest timeline right now. And I don't know what is going to come from this. Like I haven't been here before. We need like Dibs Emeritus or Degen Blue Demon to just like let us know like what are we supposed to do now? Like what do you do?
The bottom, yeah.
What do you normally do when your season ends 6 games in? Like
this is just sad that we're calling this 6 games in, but like there's been nothing through these first 5 games to like say anything. The only true positive is we beat the crap out of NJIT. So okay, we are at least better than the 360th worst team in the country. Like we can hang our hat on that. But this was supposed to be an easy schedule, and we're 2-3. We still have Maryland, who's high quality. Cincinnati, it's at home, thankfully. So I don't know if that matters.
Is it thankfully?
I don't know if that matters, to be honest. But it's at home, so in theory, you get like a couple points for being at home. But the thing is, we're totally gonna, and we'll talk about this when we do a repreview. We're totally gonna like step up and beat Cincinnati, and then it's gonna be like
I know, like,
and then
they're gonna give us hope.
Like, if there's anything I know, they're gonna give us hope.
Which whatever. I'll cross that bridge. Like, I want to be a fan of a winning team. So if they can do something that makes me think like, oh no, there's a chance. Like, I will not this season. I will not say we're going to make the tournament until after Selection Sunday ends and we've made the tournament. Like, I am not falling for it. Brian's hoping that I do. I know he's waiting on me to say it. I know he's waiting on any one of us to say it, but it's not happening. I'm not going to fall for that. I want the hope that we're going to win some big games and that we're going to be able to be a competent team. That's how low my expectations are right now.
I'm at the stage where I want us to be a tournament team. I say just like blind hope being thrown at the wall. I want to see good basketball. Like I love basketball. I want to see good basketball, and there's just bad basketball being played by a program that I love dearly. That's just like, oh, this is just bad. This team hasn't gotten better in the last 3 years. It's the same thing, and arguably, this is the worst of all the
one thing that we had last year was we had a good defense. Our defense is ranked 108th right now.
And
We
I don't.
went from a top 15 defense at the end of last year. I know it's only 5 games, but 108th right now. Like that was the only thing that we could say. Well, we're able to lose these close games because at least we have a really good defense. Problem is we can't score. Now it's okay. Eric's scoring, and everybody else is kind of feeding on the edges, but we have no defense.
We
I,
can still shoot free throws somehow. I don't. I don't know what's in the
yeah,
water there. That free
well,
throws.
because having good free throw shooting over the last 6 years is partially because Eric Dixon has been here for 6 years. Uh, but I just it's kill shot. Like we're gonna be a kill shot meme again. This is I think objectively the least talented team that we've had since like 2012, but there's no hope. And it's also the worst coach that we've had since 2012. Like, not that it was different. Like, obviously it's the worst coach that we've had in 20 something years.
I just
40 years.
in this moment, the way you were talking, I was like, damn, this is bleak as fuck.
It's okay. Even if we were like a middling Big East team and like had a tournament, like objectively, Kyle Neptune would still be the worst coach that Villanova's had.
No, yeah.
Just like that's a fact. Like it's we have a really high standard there, and or we did at one point.
Nana Njoku hasn't scored a point all season.
That breaks my heart.
No, wait, I'm tripping. He scored. I'm reading it wrong.
All right.
I
will still ride or die for Nana Njoku.
Yeah, I'm tripping. He's scored 4 points. So.
Oh yeah.
6. Hey, 6. Willie, shut up.
Put some respect on his name.
Nope, it's 4. I'm
learn how to read.
Yeah, I can't read, but it's 4.
Both
in wins, so like maybe if Nana scores, we win.
I've been saying Nana Njoku is a winning player, blue guy.
He scores, we win. I have no memory of either of these. Oh, I remember the free throws, but that's
about it. Yeah.
Do we want to?
I don't know if I have too much else on this. Like we can hear about Homefield for a minute and then talk about what's coming up.
So we're gonna do a Homefield ad read, and then we'll talk about the upcoming games. This is a Homefield ad read that I wrote completely, and this is completely scripted by me, not anything else used by the internet to write a Homefield ad read because I just didn't want to make it up off the top of my head. Here we go. Hey, Villanova fans. Tired of wearing the same old merch that feels like Jay Wright's suit, stiff and overpriced? Enter Homefield Apparel. Vintage designs, softer than a Big East defense on Chris Jenkins 3. And guess what? We've got a deal to make your wallet feel like it just won the big dance. Use promo code Nova Insider at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's Nova Insider because looking good while repping the cat should be easier than beating Georgetown. Homefield Apparel, where comfort meets championship vibes.
My one complaint about your ad is that I guess it should be looking good should be easier than beating Villanova at this point.
So the system I used, I think, is still working on 2021 data.
The ghostwriter is catching up.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, that well done, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have UPenn tomorrow. What could go wrong?
So, do you want to know something that just I looked as I was like preparing to talk about UPenn? Let me tell you Penn's schedule this far. NJIT, Maryland Eastern Shore, Lafayette, St. Joe's, Villanova.
They're all teams that we've played in the last.
It's our same schedule.
Yeah.
They beat NJIT by 1. So, transitive property should be fine. They lost to Lafayette by 2. Transferred property, we should be fine. They lost to St. Joe's by 17. So
they're going to
beat Penn.
7.
We're going to beat Penn based off of that, and we'll see how that goes. And then they also have Ryder, so another team we face. But I just thought that was interesting. There's a lot of overlap in our schedules.
Yeah, which is great. Are they? Are they?
They're 2-2.
They're 2-2.
Yeah, they're 2-2. They have a god awful defense as well. So we'll see.
Like looking in a mirror, I always said that UPenn was Villanova's little brother, academically, athletically, acceptance rate.
Wait, last week I went to a Northeastern versus Harvard basketball game because I'm a sicko, and I was like, let me go check this game out. the Northeastern band was playing and doing whatever. There was like maybe 400 people in the stands. It was pretty empty. And at one point, Harvard's at the free throw line, and they just started chanting "Safety School" at the Harvard players. And I just like was so tickled by it. Like honestly, Penn's at home, right? Yeah, we should start chanting "Safety School" at them. Have fun because I always appreciate a clear like that's not true, but here we are.
Yeah, I Harvard basketball is big time. Ask
Yeah, it
social media manager Brad, one time Harvard employee.
was a
Um,
rough game. Not gonna lie. Harvard got
yeah,
Harvard got beat pretty bad.
did you see Mark Jackson there any chance?
I did not see Mark Jackson. No. I saw
Well,
Tommy Amaker and I thought maybe he could be the coach. And then Harvard was down by like 15, and I said, maybe not.
so hopefully there's nothing notable about the UPenn game. Like
I
honestly, this is I
you're if we like, I don't even want to review this at all because once again, the standard of the program should be to beat Penn. Even though we lost to them last year, we lost them in 2019. Like one-off losses happen, that's fine. This does not feel like a good Penn team. They've lost to every teams that we've beaten, or they barely beat a team that we beat. They lost to another team that we beat. They lost by a lot to St. Joe's. We're at home. This should be a win for Villanova.
it has to be. I don't like
Does it have to be anymore at this
I
stage?
I mean, look, I mean, we're past that. Like we said, like I don't know where we go from here. Like how much worse can it get?
We lost the Penn with them.
I'll let you know on Wednesday. But yeah, look, I
We still should deal in the realism that we are a more talented team. We have more
yes,
talented players.
we're a more athletic team. We have Tyler Perkins. What you gonna
Tyler,
do about it,
give us the
Ben?
scout. Like, they'll have
Yeah,
the scout on Tyler, which is fine. Tyler, you put 0 points up. Don't do anything. Just give us the scout on Penn, which we clearly need. Uh, so yeah, I like Penn. Just like Ethan Roberts, who I think killed us last year, is still there. If I remember that, if I got that name correct. No, that's not the kid. What was the kid's? Oh, Kark Schlacker. He left. That was the kid who killed us last year. Um, yeah. So I don't know. There's it's Penn. If we can't handle a business versus Penn, I don't want to spend time talking about this because I'm getting pissed off
I
right
know.
now about a
I'm
sports fan.
like I won't even have like anything to say in a spaces if that happens. Like
Yeah,
I
but I can talk about Maryland. Um,
yeah. So Maryland, a team that we played last year and had like one of the funniest games that I've ever been to. In that
yeah,
we were up like 30, and then both teams, or maybe it was just us, stopped knowing how to score,
yeah.
and then it got like oddly interesting, and then it was just now Kevin Willard's going to Kevin Willard. But does he have a good team this year?
He does have a good team. There's more talent in theory. So Deshaun Harris Smith was a guard that was on the team last year. Big, strong point guard, two guard, combo guard, whatever you want to call him. He's not having like a great season, but he's still really talented. They have Jacoby Gillespie, great last name. He was at Belmont last year. He's shooting well. Gets like has a nice little like float game, getting a limited range jumper, gets to the rim. Has some a little more athleticism than you think. Isn't turning the ball over. He's a pretty strong guard, lead guard. He's on
How do you play lead guard without turning the ball? Like,
it,
is that a thing that other
it's a thing.
schools have?
It's a thing
Wow,
that other schools
and
have.
they have more than one guard on their
They have
team.
they have more than one guard. They have quite a few options at guard.
I'm calling the NCAA. Is this allowed?
uh, they have a kid, his name Rodney Rice, who's pretty decent. I think he's interesting. He's at Virginia Tech. Uh, has taken what feels like a little leap for him. So that's going to be interesting. But the main draw is like they have a freshman forward, Derek Queen, who is in theory an NBA prospect. He's been really good off the jump for them overall. He's not 7 foot. He's probably like 6'10". In theory, can stretch the floor. Hasn't really been shooting well that yet or that much right now, but really soft touch, highly skilled, gets to the free throw line, obliterates shots at the rim. He is probably the most talent. Not even probably. He's the most talented player we're going to play before Big East play. Like just individual
Really?
on an individual level. Yeah. Um, so thankfully, all right. Like I'm not worried about Eric Dixon versus Derek Queen. Like Eric Dixon has 30 years of experience in college basketball. He'll be fine, but it is a player that we need to worry. We have bodies to throw at him, but Queen is also just like a really smart passer. He's just a good player. I really like watching him play and seeing like what I've seen from him. He's picked up college basketball pretty quickly. Um, we're looking at like he's had, just to give you like quick numbers, he had 22 and 14 versus Manhattan. Like a quiet game versus Mount St. Mary's didn't really matter, but the one that probably cared, or 22 and 20, sorry, versus Manhattan. And then so already had a 2020, and then versus Marquette had 24 and 7. Played really
Yeah,
well in the
I
Marquette
mean,
game.
they Marquette needed 28 from Cam Jones and like superhero Stevie Mitchell to pull out
Yeah,
that win by 4 in Maryland. So like, at home, I mean, on the
yeah,
road, not we're playing them at a neutral site
yeah.
where we should have. Like, actually, I don't know. Like, who's gonna
And
want to who's gonna want to come out to a neutral site for that? Like, that gets anyway.
it's in
It's in
Empire
Newark.
Classic to Newark, yeah. And
Yeah,
also
but
that was a game that Jacoby Gillespie was also tearing up Marquette. He had like 24 as well.
yeah, I mean, look, I saw that final and I was just like, I'm in danger.
Yeah, yeah. This is a good Maryland team, and they like. I mean, I know they're 3-1. They lost, or 3-1, 2-1, whatever the number is. And they lost to Marquette, but it's a Maryland team that's dangerous. They have the guards. They have wings. They have a very good big. Uh, we're going to be. I think they play Kinesis next tomorrow. Should they lose to that, that's going to be bad for them. But I
It's gonna be
don't
worse
expect
for
that.
us.
Yeah, I don't expect that. Um, this is a team that I think Willard is getting in a better position. They this is just like it's a Kevin Willard team. We know how like Kevin Willard plays or how he coaches. There's talent across the board. They have guards. They have wings.
Guards
I
plural.
think. Well, I don't know. I was going to say I like hope that this team could like step up to the level of competition, but we just didn't do that versus Virginia,
We
who
can do it against St. Joe's.
yeah. So like what I almost said that just like naturally, but now I'm saying like there's I, what are we gonna
I
do?
on Friday I tweeted that we're gonna lose by 40.
I don't think it'll be that. Actually, I
I
don't
know,
think.
but that was based on the timestamp. That was late at night uh,
Yeah.
after a long flight and a long couple weeks away. So yeah, we like I said, we are in danger. Um,
And Maryland has a legitimate defense. I mean, as of right now, they've been
yeah,
playing defense really well. And Kevin Willard's always been able to get his teams to play defense in general. Um, was last year one for Kevin Willard? I think
no,
so.
it's
No,
like year. It's I think it's like year 5 for him at this point.
no, it's three.
3,
This is year
3.
three. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, because Shaheen has three,
Sheen's been there for 3 years.
right?
I don't know.
Time's wild.
Did
Yeah.
they
Yeah, Shaheen's been there for three.
they
Yeah.
hired him
Year
right after Willard? There wasn't any reason.
Shaheen's been here the same time as Kyle.
Okay,
So yeah,
all right.
it's three.
It feels like it's been longer.
It,
I don't know.
I don't know why it feels so long.
Yeah.
Longer. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, this is a strong Maryland team. We're going to. I mean, yeah, it took Cam Jones to really like put Maryland or Marquette on his back. Stevie Mitchell to do Stevie Mitchell things.
So we need someone other than Eric Dixon to show up.
Who
We
I
need
mean,
like 3 other people to show up.
we
At least.
need Wooga to show up, and if we're going to be a semi decent team for the rest of the season, like let's not even saying tournament. I'm just saying if we're going to be like 7-13 in the Big East, whatever it may be, we're going to need Wooga Poplar to be a 15 point per game scorer. Did you? That's where we're at.
Oh my god!
And like Wooga's like I'm not even like really. There's no like not even shade's not the word, but like I think he'll step up. I'm not
I
like
know. I'm not
he's
saying
too
he can't.
talented.
He
Yeah,
can't. Like it's like I said. It's we're up to game 6 right now,
yeah.
so like it's understandable that if transfers haven't found their groove yet, but we
Oh,
are running out of time quickly
this
to
is
get settled.
all right. I'm looking at our 3-point shooting numbers because I was like, how's like I know Wooga's been struggling.
He's like 30%, I think.
There's one person above 40%, or besides
Dixon's,
Eric. Dixon's at 52, which like isn't he's so good. Like
yeah, I know.
I tweeted this during the game, but I was like, he covers up, and we talked. He covers up so much, but not enough that it's
Yeah,
like we're that good.
I
So it's
know.
just like, ooh, you want more from him, but it's like he's really
He's
doing.
doing a ridiculous amount
Yeah,
right now. Um, so is it? I know it's not Longino. I know it's not Parker. Um, Luga is at 30. I guess it would have to be um, Brickus.
Perkins is at 31. It's Perkins,
Okay.
and Perkins has taken a decent amount of threes. He's taken 20.
I was gonna say
Um,
Brickus probably hasn't taken that many either, so I almost didn't want
16
to
for
count him.
16 for Brickus. Um, yeah, it,
Which, by the way, now that we're saying Jordan Longino is shooting 24% from three. All right, like he, it's year four. He's not. I, I'm just profoundly disappointed.
before I even say three, what from the field? It's 33% from the field.
Longino.
Yeah,
I know he's taking tougher shots because he's being forced to create for himself
which
and for others, but it's just like we said it in the preseason. If we wanted any hope for this team, like Longino would have to take a step. He did take a step. He took a step back. Like I don't even know if that's back. That might be a step up for him. I'm not sure. I'm doing a lot of Jordan Longino bashing right now, and I
we've
don't
miscast
mean
him.
to. But yeah, you've been told fantastic lies about Jordan Longino for 4 years.
We've
Uh,
just miscast him in the role. Like he's like
yeah,
he so
not that guy, pal.
his most successful year was his freshman year, probably, and then like his sophomore year was no, so it was his freshman year. His freshman year was his most successful year. That's just what it's been. But yeah, we've
Best
just
player, the best teammates that he had, and his most limited role.
yep,
Great.
we have just miscast him, and I'm not even like this isn't mad. I'm not even mad at him. It's
No, I
just
know
like
this is. I honestly, I blame Jay Wright for this because when he went down and Jay was like, "Oh, we really missed his defense and his scoring a bit." I think back to those interviews and we're like, "Oh my God, Jordan Longino is the next big wing for Villanova." And then, yeah, no, thanks.
but you see a word you just said. You said wing. We're using him as a point guard. We're just not using him where he needs to be.
Oh my God.
And
Oh my
so then again,
God.
we get back to like, should we be playing Sash? Should we be fucking
I want to see
following?
Saj play.
Honestly, I
I
want to see
don't
Sash
care.
play. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
this
just
is a team at this stage. If we're going to hit anything, we need to play with volatile pieces. And like maybe that Sash
see
brings
what
the floor
happens.
down low, but like
Throw it all in a pan.
yeah,
See what happens. I I did not expect to be here at Game 6, which like I think we kind of spelled it out. Like we're probably in trouble against Maryland, but
yeah.
like neither we're Willie and I are both so sick that neither of us can like fully admit like yeah we're gonna lose this game by X amount. I mean like I'm expecting a loss. I'm expecting a 1-1 week. Um, but at the same time, it's like okay, I just said we were wrong about this team. So if we want to circle back and make any changes to our predictions, uh, I think
What I
I didn't go back to check because I like they're so outrageous. I said we were gonna
well,
win 13 Big East games.
which I called you out in the moment
I
for
know
comfort.
because you had said
I
what
think I
did you
said
say?
10.
You said 10 or 11, and I was like, well, I can't say 12 because that's
Yeah,
lame. So let
I
me say
said
13. I should have gone the other direction because now I think we're gonna win 5.
I think I said we'd go 8. I think I got us to 18. I said 8-3 and
Yeah,
then 10-10.
I think I had us at 20 wins
Yeah,
or
you just
19 wins.
so you just said 20.
I thought we would lose to Cincinnati and Maryland. I think,
Yeah,
or like it doesn't matter. I thought we would go into Big East with 2 losses.
I had us going into the stretch we had us right now. I had us with 4-1 because I think I chose St. Joe's as a loss. But
You did. You
yeah,
did. I said we
uh,
were going to win St. Joe's, but we were going to lose to another team. Like I had us going in with one or two losses to Big East. But like no.
yeah,
I hope that our only quote unquote real games. Not that we won't be capable of making these feel like real games against Penn and Ryder and Fairleigh Dickinson and all these, uh, presumed cupcakes. But Cincinnati and Maryland are like the big bads left. I think we lose both of those.
yeah.
So
Actually, you know what? No, fuck it. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna convince myself here. We'll lose one of them.
okay, great. I think we'll lose one and then we'll lose the other one. So I I have a rough time seeing us win more than 12 games this year.
Oh boy. All right. So, all right. Let's say I'm gonna
They
against
massacred my boy.
against my better judgment. I'm gonna say we handle business versus the teams we should handle business. Let's say we've got all that out of the way. The Columbia loss, which in theory, the Columbia loss was the only one that like. St. Joe's is good. UVA is a high major team. So sure, we beat Penn, we beat Ryder, we beat Fairleigh Dickinson. That gets us to 3. So we're looking at 5. I'm gonna give us one random win versus Maryland or Cincinnati. Gets us to 6. It's the Big East. I went 10-10.
8-12.
Do we? I'm going to broad strokes this here. We lose every game on the road. We protect home, except versus Connecticut,
Marquette.
Marquette, and I'll say St. John's, and we like beat Creighton at home. So
Okay.
that gets us to 7, and I just put us to 4, so 13. I got to 13.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got us to 13 wins. That's
Brad just texted me on the side asking if I was okay. I'm not okay. Um, it's okay to not be okay when your favorite team in the world is unraveling in front of you, and the only end is the end of the season. Um,
when they're presumed doo doo.
yeah. Um,
Yeah. So that's what 13. That's
yeah. I'm not gonna math it out, but I think we get to 12, which is what the preseason is what I thought our Big East wins were going to be before I thought, no, I have to be more different from Willie. So let me say 13. So yeah, 12 total wins. What a
and like I don't like so much in me naturally just wants to start talking about hope. Wants to be
I know.
like I naturally want to be like, no, we'll figure out Penn. Like maybe we'll lose to Maryland, but it'll be a good game. We'll like look like stronger, and
I'm
we'll
not
beat
getting
Ryder.
fooled
We'll
again.
take Cincinnati. That's the thing. I keep looking like an idiot. The clown makeup's on me. Like it's just on me at this stage. Um, and like I don't know, you be a clown for the things that you love. Like you take a chance, but like how many times will I be fooled? I've been being fooled for the last 2
I'm
seasons.
hoping this is it. Like again, if there is any, there's nothing in the history here to show me that, suddenly like the switch is going to flip and
That's the
um,
there's the
unless Eric Dixon becomes Wilt Chamberlain overnight, like,
which Eric, if you have the ability, maybe do it. Like that'd be
yeah,
interesting.
honestly, you know what would happen? Like, yeah, we'll be granted that wish, but Eric will get like the size immediately, and then just like not be used to his new being 7 feet tall,
Yeah.
and just like become the most useless basketball player.
I just it it comes down to frankly, do Kyle and the staff make adjustments mid-season that get us marginally better to get us from 13 to 15, to get us to 13 to 16? That's just what it has to be. Like, is there any adjustment that they can make? There definitely
You hope
is,
so.
but there
There's
definitely is.
talent, like the bright spot, and look, I know I've been super negative all night, but like there is talent on paper here,
Mhm.
and successful players at their previous stops and it's not like the Big East is some super untouchable league that there are transfers from mid majors and lower high majors that are coming into these programs
Yep.
and performing and stepping up and then transforming their team seasons. And why not us? Wooga
Oh,
Poplar, get the keys. Like, no one's getting the
oh,
keys from Eric, but um, like
this is fun.
there are players here, and we've been saying, it's 6 games in, so there's obviously the chance and an opportunity for them to show us something. But all I'm saying is I'm not taking the bait right now. I will wait until they do that before I start sounding positive. I'll probably start sounding positive next week. Actually, it's just today was a long day.
All right, I'm looking at something. All right, this will be interesting. I'm on Bar Torvik, and there's
I
like a
know what
weird.
that website is.
It's
Yeah,
Ken Palm basically, but it has it's another Ken Palm. They have a metric for like the best teams that are best players in the Big East. Eric Dixon is rated number 5. So
they
the
have.
only people it's Kalkbrenner, Caravan, Cam Jones, and then Jenkins from Seton Hall who have like right by this metric who've outperformed Dixon.
Yeah,
Who do you think is our next player, and where do you think he is?
I would assume it's Wooga Poplar.
It's not.
Okay,
He,
so this is like
Poplar's 2 spots below the next
this
player.
is stats based.
Yeah,
Or is it Perkins?
no, it's Bocce.
Briggs? Botch? Oh my god!
Bocce. Um, if you had to guess where they were in the rankings of
How
the
many
top,
total? How many total players? Just so I know.
I'm looking at 50 right now.
Okay, in the
After
top
Steam
50,
in the top 50, they're in the top
um, 37 and 39.
40 and 42.
All right, full 40.
Yeah, the full 40. Um, yeah, and this is just by using BPM. So it is just kind of looking at the box score. It's
Yeah,
not really like taking everything into account, but yeah. Yeah.
tough. How many DePaul players are listed before we
Ooh.
get to two Villanova players?
Isaiah Rivera, David Skogman, JJ Trainer, Troy D'Amico, Jacob Meyer. That's it. So 5, 4,
Yeah, great.
5. Yep.
Is Justin Moore shot in the Big East tournament
The worst thing to happen
the
to this
worst thing
program.
that's ever happened? I've won, but at what cost?
Maybe that's what we
It's
changed
a
this
Bowser
podcast.
team.
Maybe that's what
Yeah,
we changed this podcast to be. Just like a deep dive on like the things that the butterfly effect ruined our lives. And Justin Moore's shot is the first one.
uh, no, the first one the one thing that I always went back to was in the NC State game, that 3-pointer at the buzzer to end the half.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was like a 38. It was a
Yeah.
ridiculously deep. Phil was with him like stride for stride, and he just bombed one, and I was like, "That's not good." Uh,
Yeah, we just do Villanova what ifs. What if?
yeah, we might have some content to fill in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
in
yeah,
the in
yeah.
the Big East season. So like you
What
never
if
know.
what if Jay Wright told people ahead of the season?
um, oh man, I don't really know if I have any awards to give this week.
To pass the fucking ball awards to the fucking team.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
look, you lose 2 games, 1-2, or you lose the Holy War. That's losing to UVA is more understanding, I guess, in that we saw that they were just better. Um,
I
but
like
yeah,
UVA too. UVA is like
yeah,
us. They're the same thing, but it's like different sides of the coin.
yeah. So I'm not so beat up over that one. It was more so like the manner in which we
Mhm.
lost, and then that we made it a fake close game at the end. It was still double digits, but like you know,
I
lose
mean,
by 20.
we did the thing where you start pressing and trying, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And they were like, "Can we just end this game?"
where was this effort for
Yeah,
39 more minutes?
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I don't have any awards to give.
There's nothing
Um,
there.
we can end on a positive note with our Wildcat of the week, though.
Oh yeah, let's not there.
New format. So um, this player is one of Jay Wright's early success stories.
That's the first hint.
Yeah.
Early, I'm going to go Speedy Claxton. But he was never in a Wildcat.
He wasn't a Wildcat.
Yeah, so never mind.
Not yet, coach.
Jason Frazier.
No.
You don't have to say it like that. You give us
This player was teammates with Jason Frazier.
Okay.
Randy Foy.
No.
That narrows it down to a lot of people. I'm going to wait for the next hint.
Has USA basketball success.
Dante.
Oh.
Who did you say, Brian?
Dante Cunningham?
No.
You're not doing Kyle.
I am doing Kyle.
Yeah, okay.
My next question was going to be, he's famous for his butt. Which could have been Josh Hart, but obviously not from the early. Yeah, so I more so wanted to. We might have already had Kyle on this segment. I never made a list, but I more so wanted to talk about him as kind of like a heart monitor, just because he recently became Villanova's all-time NBA leading scorer, passing Paul Arizin, I imagine.
Which did Paul Arizin really create the jump shot? Because I've heard that before.
I don't know.
He was the first one.
He's my friend's grandfather, and I've never heard that.
The first three-pointer made in the NBA was a Villanova alum. I forget his name, but it was a Villanova guy, which is another fun fact. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. Just let me.
No, I've heard that too. I just want to see what the name is.
Yeah, I want to talk about Kyle. He just became, like I said, Villanova's all-time leading scorer in the NBA. Gold medal. 19 seasons in the NBA. I saw when I was watching the Sixers the other night.
Shit! I guess it's been
he is old, man.
Chris Ford made the first NBA.
Chris Ford.
Chris
Ford.
Ford.
There you go.
Another famous interim coach. So
yeah. Like I was thinking of Kyle because Vince Carter just had his jersey retired by the Raptors, and Kyle will have a statue in Toronto one day.
Yeah.
Probably sooner than later once he stops playing. But yeah, obviously that 2006 team, that was very special, and Jay's first breakthrough couple of seasons. We could use some of that right now.
Something.
I want to talk about Kyle, and we could do a full heart monitor if we want.
No, I mean, Kyle was, I think for me, because none of my family went to Villanova before I went. Him and Randy was the one that pulled me in, I would say, and then Kyle, fully, I was like, this is my guy. And then watching him, his NBA career was super cool to see. He's fine in Houston, he's fine in Memphis.
I didn't realize he was in Houston for that many seasons.
He was there for a bit, and it's he had
4
a decent
years,
career, and then he got to Toronto, and it just took a leap. In the same way that kind of Brunson did. Obviously, Brunson's leap has been bigger, but it was no, he's an all-star now. Brunson's obviously he's an MVP caliber player. But yeah, it was really cool to see that, and Kyle's Kyle's been such an interesting I like a success story is a good way of putting it, because a guy who
there were so many opportunities for it to go wrong.
It could have really gone wrong multiple times, and through it all, Jay stuck by it. He stuck by Nova. He stuck by Jay, and just really helped. Usher in an era of Villanova basketball.
Yeah, Olympic medalist, NBA champion, gold medal, NBA champion, trying to help the Sixers stay afloat. My favorite Kyle thing is the story that always comes up with him tearing his ACL during what should have been his orientation day, or the first day of orientation, and he was in Philly playing pickup, and we thought it was over before it started, but we also didn't know who he was at that point, and then he was dunking in St. Mary's 4 months later.
Do you know what's interesting about that story is when Jay would tell it before Kyle was that established in the NBA, he would leave out that it was the day of orientation. He would just be like, "Oh, he wasn't there," and we had to talk. But recently he gets into like, I called him and was like, "You're not coming back to school," and he's like, "I'm in the hospital." And I thought that was helpful for him when he was still trying to establish himself. Like,
Yeah.
even though he's a good guy, it was a nice addition. But it was funny the first time I heard the story. I was like, "Wait, that's different."
Yeah.
And a lot worse.
No, it's definitely funnier after the fact.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, and after he got settled in the NBA a little bit more, because that's there were obviously like early in he was immature kid and had like issues at a couple of his first stops, and then really just like I said, he's gonna have a statue in Toronto. Like he is one of the most beloved. I think he is the most beloved Raptor. He and DeMar. It's tough to tell the difference, but like he's the one that they kept in the trade and won a title.
History will be kind to him up there.
Yeah.
Because Kawhi left.
Yeah.
Kawhi was 6 times better in that finals, but like you said.
Oh, I know. Like, no, I'm like, everybody is going to love Kawhi Leonard up there for the rest of their lives, but Kyle Lowry is their, that's who they're going to build a statue of.
Brad just said Vince Carter.
I know Vince Carter, but there's such a love-hate relationship with him, and the jersey retirement, like helped mend a lot of those wounds, but a lot of people really hated Vince Carter for a really long time.
Toronto fans really did not like Vince Carter, because of how he left.
And just recently is kind of how like they were able to heal that a little bit with his jersey retirement. But like the good thing is there's nothing to heal with Kyle. It's just like, yes, he is, that's who the like they're gonna have the statue. Like but
I'm looking at the all-time scoring rankings just for Villanova players. Kyle being at the top, Paul at number 2, Tim at number 3, Brunson's 7.
Well, it's a different era.
He's 9,000 points behind Lowry, which
he'll get there in
1,500 points a season, 1,800. Yeah. He'll get there, but
he'll get there quick. If he keeps going. Quickly. Josh Hart is off to like a ridiculous start from I think like game 1 or 2 saying I don't know my role, I don't know what I'm doing here, to he's near a triple double more often than not. He's scoring more efficiently, he's scoring more, doing it all. He's playing 48 minutes a game,
which like is malpractice. It's Tibbs.
I know it's so bad. It's so bad, and he's providing great. He's having great commentary in the post game interviews and stuff too. It's fun to watch Nick's post game stuff and pressers because he's just making fun of Mikhail or Jalen the whole time, and that's a happy distraction for me right now.
Josh Mikhail has been like meh, but he's been fine.
Yeah,
there's more. He could become more efficient.
He'll get there.
It's early season. Like Jalen hasn't been great. You know who's actually been sneaky like good that I'm happy for him? Jeremiah Robinson.
I was gonna say, is it JRE?
Yeah, JRE's been like after falling out of favor in Oklahoma City, getting traded to New Orleans, didn't really play much.
He was on a 2-way contract.
Yeah, he is on a standard contract now. And
New Orleans is so banged up.
Yeah, and he's playing. He was always decent. I don't know why he didn't play that much last year, but like is having a pretty good season right now. So like good for him. Like the kind of season where he keeps us up for another 30 games, and that's another 2-year contract worth $5 million, and he keeps.
Dante is settling in a little bit.
Yeah,
up and down kind of.
And Dante's been like Dante always starts a season slow. That's just what it is. So we'll see. He had a good game yesterday, but he starts the season slow, and it was actually really funny. I was watching the game because obviously I'm watching everything Dante does. And he missed his first shot. The second shot bounced and barely went in, and you could just feel this I got it now. And he hit 4 straight threes after that. And it was very rapid succession. It's this is what happens with him. So he'll be fine. He's not shooting well, but he'll be fine. Minnesota's kind of bad. So see what happens there. And Jalen's just Jalen. But also
Jalen will get there. Again, slow start. Or just inconsistent, I guess. There was a really fun. The Knicks played the Nets twice this past weekend, and Jalen had the de facto game winner, or it was a game winner, and then Mikhail blocked the last shot attempt on the other end at the buzzer, which is fun to see.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else to touch on.
Colin hurt his ankle, I believe. He's like, jeez, I'm thinking he fractured it. I thought it was.
Oh man,
yeah.
Colin, I'm gonna go to the game on Wednesday. If you want to hang out, just text me.
And it was like in his first game that he played with Phoenix, he like hit a bucket.
Stinks. I didn't know that.
Yeah, fractured his ankle. So that's tough.
That just kind of wow. I knew we need to find something positive quickly. Because I don't want to end on that. Did everybody know that Colin fractured his ankle? Jermaine and Cam are still, or Cam's in a weird position again because like the Rockets are so young and stacked in the
and now they're like actually stacked, good,
but they just have like a ton of depth
at
the wing and they're good. But he, when he gets his opportunities, he is letting it fly, as we know he does. Passing is still not really his thing, but it's fine. You can be a microwave scorer off the bench, and that can be your one job.
I saw this Rockets TikTok. It was like pass the ball or pass the mic to, or I'm passing the mic to, and it was like I don't think it was like Dylan Brooks who had it. It said, I'm passing the mic to someone who literally has never seen a shot he won't take, and then he passes it to Cam.
Yeah, no, it's accurate.
He does that. All right. Well, laughing at Cam is at least a good spot.
That's about it. Yeah.
So we play Penn tomorrow at home. We play Maryland. I don't even know what day it is, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Saturday?
21st? I don't know. We play Maryland at some point. It'll happen.
Sunday the 24th.
Sunday the 24th? Okay. It'll happen.
And we will be back to talk about it on the 25th.
And we'll say what we're gonna say some words about it. I would love to see a 2-0 week. Let's just think positive.
Let's have it.
But you'll find us back here next Monday, and as always, let's go Nova.